Hi guys, I'm back. I know I've been gone for like a month straight, and that's because I was just straight on focusing on college. And the first semester is basically done. I only have like a really important English test left, and I have to complete that, and then I'll be fine, and then I'll be done. So by the time that you see this video, I'm probably done with the English test and I'm free for the next 3 to 4 months. Anyways, another thing that I wanted to say was that I have a vlog channel that I'm trying to change so that I can appear not really restricted to vlogs. And yeah, so if you're interested in that, I will be linking it down below. And let's get started. The Great Stink was an event that happened in central London during July and August of 1858. The weather was extremely hot, which made the smell from the polluted River Thames much worse. The river was filled with human waste, sewage, and industrial pollution, creating a horrible smell across the city. This problem had been building up for years because the London sewer system was old, damaged, and they were unable to handle the city's growing population. Most of the waste comes from homes and factories that were dumped directly into the River Thames, and instead of being properly cleaned or removed. As a result, the river became heavily polluted and very dangerous. At the time, many people believed that the bad smells, also known as miasma, could spread diseases, and because of the polluted river, that caused fear among the public. Before the Great Stink, London had already experienced several outbreaks of cholera, and many people blamed it on the dirty river and poor sanitation for these deadly diseases. The smell was so strong to the point that it affected people's daily life, and it even reached government buildings. Because of this particular problem, it was forced upon the national and local authorities to take up the problem seriously and find a solution. The government accepted a plan from the engineer Joseph Bazalgette. He designed a modern sewage system with large connected sewers that carried waste away from the center of London and moved it eastward, which is outside the main city area. His system greatly improved sanitation in London and helped reduce the spread of diseases. Tarr was a French showman, soldier, and spy who became famous for his unusual appetite. He was constantly hungry to the point that his parents could not afford his lifestyle and kicked him out. After leaving home, Tarr traveled across France with a group of thieves and prostitutes. During this time, he survived by performing strange acts for money. He later became an opening act for a charlatan, which, if you don't know what a charlatan is a person who tricks others by pretending to have special skills or knowledge, which is basically modern-day scamming. In his performances, Tarr amazed and shocked audiences by swallowing unusual objects such as corks, stones, and even entire baskets of apples. He eventually moved to Paris, where he worked as a street performer and became well-known for his disturbing abilities. His strange condition attracted the attention of Alexandre de Beauharnais, I hope I'm saying that right, a French general who believed Tarr's ability could be used in the military. During the war, Tarr was employed as a courier for the French army. The plan was for him to swallow secret military documents, travel through enemy territory, and later recover the documents from his tool once he safely reached the destination. However, Tarr's mission failed miserably. He was captured by Prussian soldiers. He was beaten severely, threatened, before he was eventually sent back to the French army. This particular traumatic experience frightened him so much, and afterwards he agreed to undergo medical treatments in the hope of curing his endless hunger. Doctors tried many different procedures and diets, but nothing worked. Tara could not control his appetite and often escaped from the hospital to search for food in gutters, rubbish piles, and outside butcher shops. Reports claim that he even drank blood from hospital patients during bloodletting procedures, and he attempted to eat corpses from the hospital morgue. His behavior became increasingly disturbing, and he was even suspected of eating a 1-year-old child. He was thrown out of the hospital afterwards. Tar disappeared and then appeared several years later in Versailles when he was suffering from severe tuberculosis. His health had greatly deteriorated, and after a long period of severe diarrhea and illness, he died shortly afterwards. His story remains one of the strangest and most disturbing medical mysteries in history. Codpiece was a piece of clothing worn by men in Europe during the 15th and 16th centuries. The word comes from the Middle English word cod, which meant scrotum. A codpiece was attached to the front of men's tight trousers, called hose, to cover and protect the groin area. It was usually tied or buttoned into place. At first, codpieces were mainly practical because men's clothing at the time did not fully cover the area between the legs. However, over time, they became a major fashion trend. During the 16th century, codpieces became larger, more decorative, and more noticeable. Some were stiffened with materials like boiled leather to create a pointed shape, while soldiers wearing armor sometimes had codpieces made from steel. They were often designed to show masculinity, wealth, or status. Although codpieces disappeared from everyday fashion centuries ago, similar items like that still exist today. Some are worn as part of costumes by rock and metal musicians, while others appear in certain fashion subcultures, such as leather fashion. A modern protective version called an athletic cup is also used by male athletes to protect the groin area during sports. The Voynich manuscript is one of the world's most mysterious books. It is an illustrated, handwritten manuscript written in an unknown language or script called as Voynichese. Experts have never been able to fully understand or translate the writing, which is why the manuscript has fascinated historians, cryptographers, and researchers for many years. The book was written on vellum, a type of parchment made from animal skin. Scientific carbon dating showed that the vellum was created between 1404 and 1438 during the early 15th century. Experts also believe the manuscript may have been produced in Italy during the Italian Renaissance because of its artistic style and illustration. The manuscript contains around 240 pages, although some pages appear to be missing. The text is written from left to right, and several pages can be folded out into larger diagrams. The book is filled with strange and unusual illustrations, including unidentified plants, astrological symbols, and naked human figures, and mysterious diagrams that do not clearly match any known scientific or medical text from that time period. Because nobody has successfully decoded it, many theories exist about what the manuscript really is. Some people believe it is written in a real but unknown language, while others think it could be secret code, cipher, or another form of cryptography. Other theories suggest it may simply be a hoax, a fictional work, or even meaningless writing designed to confuse readers. However, none of these ideas have ever fully been proven. The first known owner of the manuscript was George Barash, an alchemist from Prague in the 17th century. The manuscript later became famous after it was purchased in 1912 by Wilfred Voynich, whose name is now attached to the book. Over the years, many professional and amateur code breakers have tried to solve the mystery, including experts who worked during both World War I and World War II. Famous cryptographers such as William Friedman and Elizabeth Friedman attempted to decode it but were unsuccessful. Even today, no one has been able to definitely decipher the manuscript or explain its true purpose. Since 1969, the manuscript has been kept kept at Yale University's Bionic Rare Book and Manuscript Library, where it continues to attract worldwide attention. The mystery surrounding the Voynich manuscript has inspired countless theories, studies, and debates, making it one of history's greatest unsolved literary puzzles. The Dancing Plague of 1518 was a strange and mysterious event that took place in Strasbourg, which was part of the Holy Roman Empire at the time. The outbreak began in July 1518 when a woman known as Frau Trophea suddenly started dancing uncontrollably in the street. She continued dancing for several days without resting, and soon other people started to copy her behavior. Within a week, dozens of people have joined the dancing, and by August, around 400 people were affected. The dancers moved violently for hours or even days at a time. Many of them were sweating heavily, appeared exhausted, and had blank or vacant expressions on their faces. Some collapsed from extreme tiredness, dehydration, or hunger. Historical reports even claim that many, as 15 people, may have died each day, although the exact number of deaths is still uncertain. At first, local authorities believed the best solution was to allow the victims to continue dancing until the condition passed. They thought the dancers needed to dance it out. To help them, officials arranged musicians and cleared public spaces for dancing. However, this decision only made the outbreak worse, as more people began joining the controllable dancing. As fear spread, the authorities started to believe the event might be a punishment from God or connected to supernatural forces. Music and public dancing was eventually banned. The affected people were taken to the shrine of Saint Vitus, where religious rituals were performed. These rituals included prayers, holy water, and the use of crosses in hopes of curing the victims. By early September, the outbreak slowly disappeared. At the time, many people believed that the dancing plague was caused by demonic possession or a curse from Saint Vitus. Today, historians and scientists still debate the true cause of how this even happened in the first place. Some believe it may have been caused by ergo poisoning, which comes from contaminated grain and cause hallucinations. Other people think that it might be a case of mass hysteria triggered by severe stress, famine, disease, and difficult living conditions people were experiencing at the time. This is probably one of my favorite cases, but also a little bit unfortunate in my opinion. Mike the Headless Chicken was a famous chicken that survived for nearly 2 years after most of its head was cut off. The unusual event happened on September 10th, 1945 in Florida, when a farmer named Lloyd Olson attempted to slaughter Mike for dinner. During the attempt, the axe missed an important vein called the jugular vein and left most of Mike's brain stem intact. Because of the brain stem controls basic body functions such as breathing, heartbeat, and movement, Mike was somehow able to survive. Even without most of his head, he could still balance, walk around, and try to peck at things. He also attempted to crow, although he could only make strange gurgling noises. Amazed that the chicken was still alive, Olsen decided to take care of him instead of killing him. Mike was fed milk, water, and tiny pieces of food using a dropper directly into his throat. Scientists later explained that the birds also have a secondary balance system, which helped Mike remain uptight and move around despite his severe injury. Mike quickly became famous across the United States. He was toured around the country as part of traveling sideshows and became a popular attraction. Thousands of people paid money to see the headless chicken, and he even appeared in major magazines and newspapers. At the peak of his fame, Mike was earning thousands of dollars every month, making him an unexpected celebrity. Sadly, Mike died in March 1947 while staying at a motel in Phoenix. He reportedly choked on mucus during the night, and the family did not have the tools needed to clear his airway in time. Today, Mike is still remembered as a local legend in Florida, Colorado. Every year, the town celebrates his story with an event called Mike the Headless Chicken Day, which attracts visitors interested in one of history's strangest true stories. That's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. And before we go, check out my background. Check out my background. We have a new background for people complaining that my background is boring. And I do have to agree with that. I'll see you guys in the next video.